Hi guys, welcome to our weekly restorative practice. It is great to be here and I'm excited to share it with you all. My cat just knocked something off of a table, as is his wont as a cat. Let's get started today by just lying down on our mats in Savasana. Setting any props to the side, and actually just take a moment to gather your props for our practice. We'll be using one block, one strap, or scarf or belt, and it's nice to have a blanket or something as well. We're going to be doing some work on our knees later and some hip opening stuff towards the end of the practice. So just having those things available, but off to the side for the time being. Coming down onto the back into corpse position, Savasana. If you like, if you have like a lot of tenderness in your lower back, you may want to keep your knees bent and your feet planted here, maybe even knock the knees in together. I'm going to stretch my legs out long. Take a moment to tuck the shoulder blades underneath you, to lift the head just slightly, to tuck the chin, feel the back of the neck get long. Let the head come down to the earth. Close the eyes. Just let yourself release down into the earth. Feel the heels get heavy. The backs of the legs heavy. The hips are heavy. The rib cage is heavy. The shoulder blades just really drop down into the earth. The backs of the hands are heavy on the mat. Feel the arm bones get heavy. Feel the back of the skull, the skin of the skull, just really melting and spreading down towards the earth. And notice how that makes the face relax. And we kind of move through the body, bringing our attention to all these different extremities, making them heavy. Now finding the spine, the whole spinal column, that central line that trails up the body from the ground to the crown. And on an exhale, just feel it drop down to the earth. Taking these few moments at the beginning of practice to let the body become a vessel for the breath.
allowing ourselves the time to transition from the energy of the day, whatever you were doing before, into this space of practice. And just rocking the toes from side to side, maybe circling out the wrists. Waking up just slightly without losing our presence in the moment. Bend the knees, drawing them in towards the chest and reaching for our strap. You're gonna take your strap and you're gonna put it around the heels of the feet, kind of just like above the heels of the feet. And with your hands on either side of the strap, extend the legs up towards the sky, keeping the feet about hips width distance apart. Let the shoulders be heavy, let the grip on the strap be firm but not too tight. Engaging through the legs, so bend your knees a little bit and feel the muscles turn on, and then with those muscles engaged, with the kneecaps lifting as the quads pull up, stretch the heels towards the sky. Pulling down on the strap, gently feel the leg bones sinking down into the hip sockets. The backs of the legs are opening, feel the windows behind the knees. Airing out. And feel the breath in the lower back, just spreading the skin of the lower back on your inhales, irrigating that whole part of the body as it spreads. And as you exhale, settling down, soaking in. Release your left leg from the strap and let it just come down to the ground. I keep my knee bent here, sole of the foot pointed on the ground. Just keeping both the hands on the strap and the left heel still reaching up towards the sky. Inhale here and exhale. Inhale, bend the knee, drawing the knee in towards the chest. And then exhale, press through the heel, lift up. Re-engaging through the muscle. Inhale, bend the knee. Exhale, press up, pumping the blood through the channels, pumping the energy through the channels one more time. Inhaling, pulling the knee in. Exhale, stretching up. Take the strap into your left hand, both sides of the strap. Keep your right hand down, planted on the ground, and just start to let your right leg come over to the left, crossing across the midline, keeping the leg active, engaged. Pressing out through the heel, feel the stretch through the side of the leg, through this hip, outer hip area. While keeping both hips grounded, so it's not this big twist, it's really keeping the lower back stable while we open up through the legs. Inhale, bring the leg up through center, switch the grip. Strap comes into the right hand. Left hand comes on top of the left thigh. Inhale. Exhale, let your leg fall open to the right. And this is a little bit deeper of a movement, probably a little bit more easily accessible, but finding the edge where you're not going so far that your left hip lifts up, using that left hand as a guideline to keep the hips grounded, to keep the lower back stable. Press out through the heel, feel the muscles of the leg hug in towards the bones. Inhale, the leg comes up through center, taking the left foot up, putting it back in the strap, holding here just for a breath or two, re-engaging with both legs reaching up towards the sky, both legs really active. Maybe you're noticing that your right leg is a little bit more open now, a little bit more easily engaged, and you can find that connection into the hip joint very firmly. And then releasing the right foot down to the earth, pressing up through the left heel, press down into the ground with your right foot so you feel sort of this oppositional energy, reaching up and pressing down. Just noticing how that makes our hip girdle a little bit more stable. Inhale here, exhale here. Inhale, bend the knee, pulling it down into the chest. Exhale, press away, lifting it up towards the sky. Twice more, inhale, pulling the knee in, bending the knee. Exhale, press up through the heel, feel the back of the leg open. Pulling it in. And exhale, stretching it up. Transitioning the strap into your right hand, inhale. Exhale, bringing the leg to the left, finding that stretch through the side of the hip, the side of the leg. Still keeping the leg active, the heel actively pressing out. And both hips are grounded. Inhale up through center, switch your grip. Right hand comes to right hip. Take an inhale. Exhale, let the leg fall open to the left as far as you can without losing that contact of the right hip with the earth. Inhale, lift the right leg up, or left leg rather, up through center. Bring your right leg up back into the strap. Hip, feet or hips with distance. Inhale, stretching the legs. Exhale, feel the bones sink down to the hips. One more inhale. And then exhale, just release the legs down to the earth. Set the strap off to the side. Let the arms fall open to either side. Walk the feet out as wide as your mat. Make sure you're centered on the mat here. Inhale in the center. Exhale, let the knees fall to one side. Inhale up through center. Exhale, the knees fall to the opposite side. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Keep moving, flowing with the breath. Once more to each side. Coming back up through center. Walk the feet in as wide as the hips, as if you're going to come into a bridge pose, but we're really just going to be working on activating through the hips and finding this pelvic tilt, releasing the lower back, finding the movement of the lower back. So beginning, inhale, arch the spine, press the pelvis down into the earth as the belly button lifts up towards the sky. Press the elbows down into the earth. And then exhale, kind of do a oppositional movement like a cat pose, curling navel in towards the spine. Maybe the tailbone even lifts up off the mat a little bit. Inhale, arching and lifting, pressing elbows down into the earth. Exhale, rounding. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch. And exhale, round. Come back to a neutral spine. Extend the legs out long. Flex the feet so the toes point up towards the sky. Your arms are active. Reach the hands long overhead. Stretching actively through the fingertips, reaching up. Maybe point the toes for a moment. Just feel this whole big line down the front of the body. Feeling the lift of the lower back here. Inhale. Exhale, knees come in, curl into center. Make it really slow so you're articulating every part of the spine. Inhale, coming back out long, stretching the legs, stretching the arms. Exhale, curling up into a ball, taking it slow. Inhale, extending out. Exhale, curling in. And keep moving, trying to have the hands and the feet be the last thing to land on the mat. Working through the core. Curling shoulders and head up off the earth. As you round. The next time you pull the knees into the chest, just stay there, let the head rest down on the earth. Rock the hips from side to side. Soles of the feet come together, grab onto your ankles and just let the hands be a weight dragging the heels down towards the groin as the knees open to either side. Notice the movement of the breath here. How is the breath moving in your body? Allow the knees to come back together at center. And on an exhale, let them fall over to one side, rolling the whole body over onto one side. Taking a breath or two here to really continue to be present, be grounded. Pressing down into the hands, lifting yourself up slowly to a seated position. Extending the legs out long in front of you. Take your strap and take it now around the balls of the feet. And feel the feet really active, pressing into the strap. The toes are pulling back towards the body. Roll the shoulders down the back, feel the lift through the heart. Feel the inner thighs turn on and spiral in towards each other. See if you can feel the breath expanding across the lower back. On your next inhale, feel the heart lift, feel the spine lift, the crown lifts. And then exhale, walk yourself forward into a forward fold. Use the strap even if you can reach your feet. Pulling back, activating through the legs. Keeping the spine long, keeping the shoulder blades on the back. And that's something that the strap really helps me with, is to be aware of the placement of my shoulder blades, be sure that my heart is opening forward. Press the backs of the legs down towards the earth. Feel the breath of the lower back. Let the gaze rest on the earth. Release the strap and just walk yourself back up to sit tall. Finding the center, maybe your hands are on the lap, maybe they're down by the sides of your hips to press down into the earth and really connect with that, lifting through the heart, shoulder blades on the back, feel the tailbone drop down. Keeping the legs as active as they have been. Bend into your right knee, bring the heel as close as you can manage to your right hip, and it can be in line with the outer edge of the right hip here. We'll take our left hand behind us, right arm lifts on an inhale. Exhale, twist to the left, hooking your elbow on the inside of your right knee,
Press the knee into the elbow, press the elbow back into the knee as you twist open. Keeping both sit bones firmly on the ground. If you find that difficult, you might want to use a blanket underneath your seat. That's what the props are there for, to help us find our ground and find the space within our bodies. Inhale, lifting through the heart. Exhale, feel the navel pull to spine as you maybe twist a little bit deeper. One more inhale. Exhale, untwist, extend both legs long, coming back to center, coming back to Dandasana, staff pose. Hands alongside the hips, pressing down, lifting up, connecting with the plug down into the earth from the tailbone. At the same time as we're lifting through the heart, opening through the chest. Then left knee, bring that sole of the foot in towards the left hip. Right hand comes behind you. Inhale, left arm lifts. Exhale, twist to the right. Elbow comes inside of the knee. You're keeping this extended leg super active, so the inner thighs are still hugging towards each other. Press the knee into the elbow, press the elbow into the knee, twist open, shoulder blades on the back. Lifting up from the ground. Inhale. Exhale, feel navel to spine. Twisting open just a little bit more, even if it's just in your mind. Inhale. Exhale, untwist back to center, back to Dandasana, stretching both legs long, lifting up, plugging down. Let's shift on to hands and knees. If you like to pat your knees here, you certainly may. Start by just walking our hands forward for a puppy pose, keeping the hips stacked on top of the knees, just feeling the heart melt down. And a lot of us have a tendency to let the legs kind of fall out of use here, to just sort of be pressed down into the tops of the feet. Feel the core turn on. Press down into the heels of the hands, push the hips back, feel this full engaged spine. Even as the heart opens down towards the earth, the armpits open, we get some stretch through our shoulders, through the armpits, through the chest. Feel the breath, filling the lower back. Walk the hands back. Coming back to tabletop, tuck your toes underneath. And then bring your hips on top of the heels. So your toes are tucked under. We're opening through the backs of our soles of our feet. Take a minute to just look down, take your hands to your feet, make sure your pinky toes are with the rest of your toes. Hug the inner thighs together. And just taking a few breaths here. If it's too much, you can always be kind of like here, leaning forward, just starting to get that stretch through the soles of the feet is really great for us. We don't wear good shoes and we don't spend a lot of time barefoot spreading out our feet. So a lot of us need some help. And a lot of the stuff that goes on in your feet connects to your lower back. And the lower back is this area of the body that's pretty unique. It's like this little spine that's holding together the rest of the body. It's supporting the whole rib cage, the whole head. There's all these organs that are kind of in the middle here. It's a space that deserves some more love for the amount of support that it gives us. Just a couple more breaths here. And then exhale, coming forward, untucking the toes. You can beat the tops of the feet against the earth if that feels good. Release the tension. And from here, we're just going to come back into a child's pose and spend a few minutes here. So if you like to be supported in that child's pose, a block is always a nice thing to have underneath the head. If you have 2 blocks, you can kind of line them up. You can do whatever feels good. I think I'm going to take my blanket and just make it a little bit of a landing pad for my torso. Maybe you want to bring the blanket between your heels and your bum. The options are really endless. And use this time in practice to customize poses to be productive and, well, productive is not the right word, just be restorative and nourishing for your body. And I like to lie with one cheek on the ground. If you like to lie that way too, I'll give a cue when to turn the head just to make sure we stretch our necks equally. So let's focus our attention on bringing the breath into the lower back. Feel it inflate on the inhales, and on the exhales, just feel the sort of nice, spacious fluidity that we create in this space. Turn your head. Keep breathing. From here, we're going to transition onto our backs. Have a block nearby. And have our blanket kind of folded up in like a little platform so you can have some lift under the hips. And we're going to come down with the hips on top of that blanket pad, sacrum supported as you lie back.
And just take a few breaths to feel the hips settle down into the prop, to release down to the earth again. Maybe you notice that there's just a slight energy shift with the hips lifted, just this maybe inch or so off of the mat. Shoulders are heavy. I like to have my hands on my body so I can feel the breath moving through the body. And connect with the breath fully. Take your right leg and extend it out long, stretching onto the mat. Toes point up towards the sky. The inner thigh is engaged just enough to roll the leg up towards the sky, keeping it straight and oriented. Flex through the feet. Bringing the breath into the front of the right hip. Feel it expand that space. Lift the heel about an inch up off the mat. Press it forward. Feel like your leg's getting longer. And then put the leg down, trying to have the heel be the last thing to touch down on the earth. See if you just made a little bit more space through the lower back. Feel the rib cage melt down towards the earth. Hug the right knee in towards the chest, wrapping hands around the knee, keeping the hips supported on your prop. You can take it into a half happy baby if you'd like, grabbing for the inside of the thigh, right behind the knee, the ankle, or the outside of the foot, and just pulling the knee down to the right side of the chest. Press down into the left foot to stabilize that. Maybe your left hand is on your left hip to encourage the stabilization of the hips here. The heaviness through the left side of the body still. On an exhale, release right foot down to the earth. Take a breath from the center. Extend your left heel out long, stretching the back of the leg down to the mat, toes point up. Allowing the breath to irrigate the front of the hip, Lift the leg up, stretch the heel just a little longer, and try to put the leg down with the heel being the last thing to touch the earth. Might feel good to stretch long through the arms. Let your arms do what they want to do. Left knee hugs into the chest. Transitioning perhaps to a half happy baby. Making sure to keep the right side of the body, the right hips really plugging down into the earth. One more breath. Releasing right foot to the ground as you exhale with the hips. Just move your blanket off to the side. Find the block. Lift the hips up and place the block on either the low or the medium setting underneath your sacrum again, just finding a little bit more of an increased sense of that reversal of energy as we come to a supported bridge pose. The hips sink down into your prop and let the rib cage get heavy on the earth. Feel the lower back extending and expanding in space. Extend your right heel long on the earth. So again, just an intensification of the pose that we were just in, opening through the front of the hip. Making space in the lower back. Press the heel down into the earth. Press the left foot down into the earth. Let the rib cage get heavy. Bend the right knee back to center. Restabilize. And then let your left leg come out long. Engaging down into the right foot, press into the right foot, press into the left heel. Opening through the front of the hip. Rebend into the left knee, plant both feet. Lift both heels up to the sky. You could just keep the legs soft and relaxed here. We'll only be here for about 5 breaths. Feeling the full effects of this gentle inversion. Leg bones plugging down into hip sockets. Soften through the lower belly, last 2 breaths. Use an exhale to bring the feet in, sink down to the earth. Planting the feet, engaging the feet, lift the hips on an inhale, slide the block out from underneath you. Setting the hips down on the ground. Feel the spine long, feel the lower back. In its natural curve, but releasing down towards the earth. Gather both knees into the chest. Then bring your attention to the breath in the lower back again. Inhale, spreading the skin. The exhales, making space for the body to melt into that opening. Arms come out to a T. Inhale in the center. Exhale, let both knees fall over to the right. It might be nice to put your block underneath the knees so they don't have so far to go. So you can keep the knees together. For me, it's often a challenge to keep the knees together in this pose. Just letting it be a gentle twist. Inhale, lift your knees up through center, and exhale, just up and fall over to the opposite side. Taking your prop with you if you find it helpful. Inhale, lift your knees up through center, hug the knees into the chest. If you like, you can take a happy baby here, grabbing for the inner thighs, behind the knees, outer ankles, outer sides of the feet, pulling the knees down on either side of the chest, feeling the tailbone drop down towards the earth. Again, the whole spine is supported by the earth. Maybe rocking from side to side. And when you're ready, extending the legs long for Savasana, returning from where we came. It might feel really nice to take your blanket and put it underneath the thighs, thigh bones, letting them have something to release down into can be very relaxing through your lower back. Make sure you have space all around you to spread out and be comfortable and find ease. Take an inhale, fill the belly, fill the chest. Exhale, sigh out through the mouth. Feel the spine drop down to the earth. Let the breath go. Untether the mind from the body. And let yourself rest in ease. Please remain here for as long as you like.
I'm going to leave you now in ease and in rest. Namaste, yogis. May you have a peaceful rest of your day.